by the time we got there, the husband was, he jumped in his car and took off, and a chase ensued. And when he got to here, he was literally launched off into the lake, and we're trying to locate the car.
Okay.
I got kids that are hurt.
So do you mind if I take some notes?
Marry me.
So beautiful.
I'm gonna cry.
Would you marry me?
You're in a quiet, candlelit restaurant, the kind of place you've been saving up for. The ring is heavy in your pocket, waiting to be offered, your heart pounding. Yet, something holds you back, just for a second. You're about to pop the question, the one that, in so many ways, will change your life. But why are you really kneeling? Where did this all start? And why, in a world that's supposed to be more equal, does one person still lower themselves? In a time when men and women have fought for equal ground, why is this tradition still alive? Today, let's rewind. We're peeling back the layers on this ritual to find out where it came from, how it evolved, and whether it's really necessary anymore. Because here's the question, are we doing this because it matters or just because we are told it does?
Ain't that a man?
To understand where the act of kneeling really comes from, we have to step into the old world of medieval Europe. This was a world built on strict hierarchies, where lords held absolute authority and knights pledged their loyalty on bended knee. Back then, kneeling was about submission. A knight knelt to pledge his life to a lord, to say, "I serve you, and I will do so with my own blood if needed." It was a power dynamic through and through. The same went for peasants, servants, and everyone else under the thumb of someone more powerful. But here's the interesting part. When the concept of romantic love started entering the picture in medieval society, these same men, these knights, were expected to extend this idea of submission toward women, especially noble women. And so, the notion of kneeling for romance was born. But is this really the role of a man today? The chivalric code that required knights to kneel is centuries old, so why is it still a part of the modern proposal? And more importantly, does it serve the same purpose? Now, let's talk about the other iconic part of the proposal, the ring. The concept of giving a ring actually dates way back to ancient Egypt, where couples exchanged rings as symbols of eternity. They saw the ring as unending, much like love was supposed to be. But as we move forward, we see a twist. When the Romans picked up on the ring tradition, it took on a different meaning. Roman men would gift iron rings as a sign of ownership, a way to signal that this woman was, in a sense, claimed. In time, this tradition of claiming became romanticized, and by the time we reached the Middle Ages, rings became symbols of an exclusive relationship, tied up with the growing importance of the church. The modern diamond ring didn't appear until the late 1400s, when an Austrian archduke wanted to make his proposal sparkle a bit more. Diamonds, ownership, a circle of eternity, it's loaded with meaning. But here's the real question. Does this symbol really align with the modern relationship? Men today are more aware than ever about the responsibilities, commitments, and the risks that come with marriage. So are we simply investing in a symbol, or is there something more to consider? So if men aren't knights and marriage itself has changed, why do we still embrace these traditional symbols so fully? Let's look at why many are questioning it. Today, some might argue that these gestures still hold value, that they are romantic, timeless, but an increasing number of men are taking a second look. After all, in a relationship built on equality, why should one partner kneel for the other? Isn't it strange that the ritual asks men to go down on one knee, even as society claims relationships are equal. In fact, recent studies reveal that around 75% of proposers still opt to kneel. But younger generations, especially millennials and Gen Z, are starting to ask some tough questions. Many wonder why we hold on to these traditions at all when relationships have evolved so much. More couples are shifting toward mutual proposals, couples proposing to each other or ditching the kneeling altogether. Sure, we may want to honor traditions, but is it worth it if those traditions don't reflect the values of today? That's what a lot of men are now weighing out, because sex doesn't need a knight and a lady, a ring, and a bended knee.
End of December, I had, been in encounters with multiple other guys.
Yeah.
Not one night stands per se.
That's a hard question because like what we were saying earlier, I feel like I'm kind of the same as a guy, and I kind of mentally have a box like guys that I would want to hook up with or guys that would make it past that point. And that's the crazy part is like those guys usually, like if they're in the hookup box, it's because I don't see them in a way, like they're not good enough to be relationship wise. So like maybe I'll let them
hit it.
Yeah, but it's like the same for me. Like I am also a fuckboy.
So here's the million-dollar question. Does dropping to one knee still make any sense? Let's be honest. It's about as relevant today as dial-up internet. Kneeling was invented in an era when men had to pledge loyalty to a lord or to a woman he'd barely spoken to before signing his life away. But today, men aren't knights. Marriage isn't a life sentence. Well, not technically. And 1 in 2 marriages end before death do us part. Why should a guy kneel down, lowering himself for tradition when marriage itself doesn't even hold the same weight? In a world where divorce is at an all-time high, birth rates are sinking faster than a lead balloon, and chastity is about as valued as a 2008 BlackBerry, that knee-bending moment is, let's face it, pure theater, and expensive theater at that. Kneeling doesn't symbolize respect or a lifelong commitment in today's relationships. It's more like that weird family heirloom no one wants to keep. And you know what? If all that matters in a proposal is the theatrics, then skip the kneeling and go full Hollywood. Fireworks, drones, spelling out her name, a flash mob. If you're just here for a show, go big. But here's a revolutionary thought. Maybe you can build a relationship without the kneeling and ring flaunting all together. Respect, trust, honesty. Those don't come in a velvet ring box, and they sure don't require you to drop a knee. Leave that knee for the gym, where it actually counts. So what's your take? Stick to tradition or let it go the way of flip phones? Patreon supporters, salute! Man, that's where we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.